Hello, this is Math Models, topic 1-1 over basic probability. The probability of an event is a number between 0 and 1. This tells us the likelihood that event will occur. So, something that's always going to happen has a probability of 1. For example, the sun rises in the east. Okay, the sun always rises in the east. Okay, it never comes from the north, the south, or the west. It's always rising in the east. An event that is certain to not occur has a probability of 0. For instance, the sun rises in the west. Okay, the sun's never going to rise in the west. It's always going to rise in the east and set in the west. Okay? Go ahead and come up with your own, something that's always going to happen, and your own, something that is never going to happen events. Okay? Now, an event that is equally likely to occur or not occur has a probability of 1/2 or 0.5 or 50%. All of these are the same thing. They're half. And so, example is that you flip a coin and get heads. So that's equally likely to occur as to not occur. You'll either get heads or you won't get heads, and half the time you get heads and half the time you don't. So we have a scale. Probabilities go from 0, which is impossible, to 1, which is certain. And if they're bigger than 0.5, they're more likely. If they're less than 0.5, they are less likely, with 0.5 being what we call fair on a fair coin. So that's fairly simple. But how do we find our probability? We know what it is. How do we find it? Well, here it says it's the ratio of successful outcomes called all outcomes. So it's the event is the number, if I can spell it correctly, number of success over the number of possible outcomes, or it's what you want over what is possible. Okay, so if we're talking about marbles in a bag, you want to know how probability of drawing a red. Well, what you want would be red, and what's possible would be how many marbles are in the bag. And probabilities can be written as fractions, decimals, percents, and ratios. We rarely use ratios. We mostly use fractions and percents, though sometimes we do come back and we use decimals. So let's go ahead and work through example number 1. We've got 6 folders in our backpack, and your best friend wants to copy your notes from chemistry class. And let's just say that all of your folders are the same. You can't tell what they are by reaching in your bag. And so you reach in your bag without looking and you pull out the correct folder. Well, how many chemistry folders are you going to have? Well, you're probably only going to have one chemistry notebook. Out of how many classes do you have? Well, you have 8 classes. So this would be 1 chemistry notebook over 8 total notebooks. Sorry, 6 folders, so it's not 8. It is 6 total notebooks. Okay? So, you have 1 chemistry, 6 total, so the probability is 1/6. Let's take a look at example number 2. Here we have all of our clubs laid out from a deck of cards. Hopefully you're familiar with a deck of cards. If not, they've listed all of the clubs for you. Ace, King, Queen, Jack, 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, and 2. There is no 1. So we want to know what the probability of getting a face card. Well, these are considered face cards. Well, that would be 4 face cards out of 13 clubs. What's the probability that's an ace? Well, we only have 1 ace, so it would be 1 out of 13. Well, the probability that's a club, well, that would be 13 out of 13, because all 13 are clubs, and this equals 1. So here, our probability is certain. We are certain to get a club. And the probability that it's a spade, well, we don't have any spades in this picture, so that would be 0 out of 13, which is probability of 0. This event is never going to happen, and so its probability is 0. So this is very simple, just very basic probability. Your assignment should be fairly simple. Good luck and have a good day.